Hey guys, quick video going over why you should not break promises with yourself. Now this sounds kind of weird or a little esoteric or a little like, what are you talking about here? But this has been on my mind and heart recently and I wanted to share it with you guys. So why shouldn't you break a promise with yourself, right? Well, let's think of an example. If you break a promise with somebody else, what do they then think of you? Versus if you keep a promise with somebody else, what do they then think of you, right? So for example, if I say I'm going to show up to a ball game or a friend's, birthday party, and I actually show up and I say I'm going to go there and I show up, my friend might think, oh, cool, Josh showed up to this thing like he said he would, right? So there's some type of word equals bond actually happening here, right? There's some connection of, okay, I say I'm gonna do something and then I do it, right? The friend then has some type of accountability with you. He trusts you, he or she, trusts your word, what you say you're gonna do. In return, with trust, there's respect being built, right? Respect takes time to build, but this respect starts coming up. And all of a sudden, next time you say you're gonna do something, your friend then thinks that you are actually going to do this thing, right? So in a second example, in that same exact example, you say you're gonna show up to a friend's birthday party and then you don't show up, and then your friend is like, oh, that's kind of lame. And maybe you make an excuse. You say, I had homework, or, I fell asleep, or my alarm didn't go off, or whatever it is. Right? And you think it's a small little, whatever, right? You just don't show up. So, you tell your friend that. Now, what does your friend then think? Your friend might think, okay, well, Josh doesn't actually, maybe next time I invite him and he says he's gonna show up, maybe he doesn't actually show up, even though he says he will. So there's a little bit of trust issues happening there, right? All of a sudden, maybe your friend doesn't actually respect you as much, especially if it happens again. Right? If it happens twice, you say you're gonna help them with something and then you don't show up again. So all of a sudden, maybe some resentment's gonna be building up from, that friend of like, yeah, there's no trust there, there's resentment. Your friend might end up not being your friend anymore, right? They might end up actually disliking you because you never follow through on what you say you're going to do, right? And this is obvious. So at this point in the video, all of this should be fairly obvious. You're like, duh, right? Like you follow through and your friends like you and they respect you and there's this trust built up. And if you don't do something, your friends might build resentment and hate you and you're like, duh, okay, whatever. So let's get to the point of this video. It's no different from a friend doing this to you than if you do it to yourself, right? And I see this all the time, whether it's in my own life, peers, family, friends, whatever it is, other people I see online. But if you promise yourself you're gonna do something and then you don't, what is actually happening up in here? Up in here, you start to not trust yourself, right? You start building resentment towards yourself. You start hating yourself. If you say, I'm going to, I'm gonna run a marathon by the end of the year, and you don't, what does your subconscious now think of yourself? You think of yourself as a liar. You don't trust yourself anymore. You think, well, next time I commit myself to something, I'm not actually gonna do it. I'm just gonna say I'm gonna do it, and then it's gonna be up here for a while, and then I'm not gonna do it. And then that's the pattern that I learned. That's the normal, right? That's the learned behavior that is accepted, right? And the opposite's true, right? If we say we're gonna do something and we do it, we follow through, even if the circumstances suck. You're like, I'm gonna run a marathon by the end of this year, and the year is tragic. You lose your job, it's just bad year, but you said, you know what? I told myself I'm gonna do it. I don't give a damn. I am going to run this marathon. A little hard-headed, in fact, but you do it. Now, how much respect have you just built for yourself of no matter what, I'm going to stick to something and actually get it done, right? And that's the point of this video, right? If we make promises to ourselves and break them, we end up start resenting ourselves, hating ourselves, and not trusting ourselves. And what that means is there's a precedent now laid down on the ground that says whenever I say I'm gonna lose 20 pounds, whenever I say I'm gonna do my homework, whenever I say I'm going to, show up to something, there's no weight behind it. There's no weight behind it. You don't trust yourself. You might just not follow through. And that's a sad thing to see happen, right? If you build resentment towards yourself, you hate yourself, your mind's not right, all of a sudden everything you do, it just doesn't feel like there's any truth or meaning behind it. Now, if you follow through on your word and you say what you're gonna do, you build that respect for yourself of, I am going to at least give it my solid effort, my best job I can do, you know? And this isn't to say that things sometimes don't happen, you know? If you say you're gonna run a marathon one year and, you know, God forbid your leg gets amputated because you were on a hike and it, you know, needed to be cut off. There's certain things. Even to that extent though, you could, you know, maybe walk a marathon over 30 days. And then in your mind, you're like, you know what? I got my leg amputated, but guess what? Over a 30-day period, I went the length of a marathon and I still did it, right? To some extent, I still did it. Life happened, but I still did it, right? And that's being hard-headed a little bit, but that's the point of this video is if you say you're gonna do something, you do it, and that sets the mind right. And if you say you're gonna do something and you don't follow through and you don't even try to remedy it in any way, right? Like, I'm gonna, you know, read 5 books this month and you don't even like pick up a single book. I'm gonna lose 20 pounds this month. You don't even do, you know, there's just not even an effort and you just kind of forget about it. Guess what? Your subconscious didn't forget about it. Your subconscious remembers that shit. It's up in here and your brain remembers that next time I say I'm gonna do something, I'm actually not going to. And you start thinking you're a little piece of shit, but your subconscious remembers all of that. So if you're a little wishy-washy, you know, on anything, I hope this video could help. Laid it out with that little example there. If you guys liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Talk to me in the comments about the videos you guys wanna see upcoming here on this channel, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.